Back to another shared news from home. We are live today to talk about Katie's new contestants for her season of The Bachelorette. But before we get started, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. Mariah, this is so exciting. It feels like everything is getting started. I am just dying for Katie's season.
Oh my gosh, so am I. I mentioned to you earlier, I'm excited to go through the guys who are, I guess they're the first guys that we're seeing because it's like the closest experience I'll get to ever being the Bachelorette. So I'm excited to go through and kind of pick my favorites right out the gate.
Absolutely. This is like our version of the limo entrances, right? We get to know them almost like before Katie even does. So you guys, this is how it works. ABC typically releases, the number of contestants that could potentially be on the season. So this is not the finalized list. This is 34 guys who may be competing for Katie's heart next season. Some of them could be cut before shooting starts, for various reasons. Obviously, there's the COVID of it all. So they're in quarantine right now, hoping everything works out there. Scheduling, backing out, we may not see some of these people. So don't fall too in love, but get excited. Before we get into who they are, some interesting details worth noting. The men range in age from 25 to 36, so very age appropriate for Katie, who is 30. The group is also very diverse. So we've been hearing a lot of talk of progress, committing to making things fair and equitable, having equal representation. And thank God we do have a very diverse group of men here. So it does look like another positive step the franchise is taking, which after a lot of controversy, I have to say, is feeling very refreshing, like a very good sign. All right, on that positive note, let's just dive right in. We've got 34 guys to talk about, Mariah, so we got a lot to look at here. Kicking things off, we have Greg. He is 27 years old and from Edison, New Jersey. What's interesting, the reason I'm actually doing him first, guys, we're going to go alphabetical after this, but he was initially cast to be a part of Claire's season. So he was part of the shakeup that occurred when the season was delayed after, we thought production would be happening way sooner than it did due to the lovely pandemic reality that we are all living right now. So this is kind of interesting, Mariah, because I think this kind of goes two ways. Either he really, really wants to find love and he really wants to find it through this process, or he's one of those guys who was along for the ride of reality TV and said, yeah, I guess, hey, I'm still interested. He looks cute. He looks nice. What do you make of him kind of bopping from Claire to Katie?
That to me is the only sketchy thing because I would kind of feel like, do you just want to be on TV, bro? Because I know some of the guys who were signed up for Claire's season who didn't make the cut. They were cut. Well, I guess if technically they did make the cut because they were a part of the small group of men who were cut from the list of guys who had already passed all of the auditioning. But I do think it's sketchy because it's like, again, are you just trying to have another shot at fame? Or are you feel like you missed out on your chance at love and a unique experience and you're trying to take another chance at it, which by all means, go for it. I think he looks like a cutie, so I'm excited to see his character. Hopefully he doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like it's going to be kind of a gut instinct. Whenever we see him or hear from him the first time, I'm either going to be totally sold on the romantic version of things, or I'm going to be totally skeptical for the whole season. So, Greg, we've
Right.
got our eyes on you. I cannot wait to see how that plays out. But like I said, we're going to just go alphabetical. These are in no particular order other than that. And next up, we have Aaron. He is 26 years old from Walnut, California. Have to say, not too much is known about him at this stage of the game, you guys. It's still early. After Aaron's photo was shared on that Facebook page with the announcement, a lot of fans flooded that comment section saying he looks like Dale Moss. One person wrote, I thought this was Dale. I had to do a double take. Another said, when I first saw him, I was like, what is Dale doing in the new Bachelorette? I have to say I don't see it. I don't know. Do you see it? I guess like if I squint, I kind of get it, but it was like an overwhelming number of comments of people just flabbergasted by how similar they looked.
Okay, I see it. Like I think that they could be brothers. I don't think that they look like the same person. He clearly looks very different, but like they definitely look like they could be related. They have similar bone structure, I feel like. Their skin color is very similar. They're both very pretty. Like I feel like everyone has
Yeah.
a describing word. You know, you're really handsome or you're cute or you're really pretty. And this he's like Dale in that. Like he's a good-looking guy. I definitely think I can see some similarities.
Okay, so now the question is, I mean, I said we don't have too much information on him, but is he going to be similar personality wise to Dale? Because Dale to date is one of those, controversial, let's just say, guys within Bachelor Nation. So it'll be interesting to get to know Aaron as well. Next, we have Andrew M. He is 31 years old and he's from Walnut Creek, California. So, not to be mistaken with Aaron's hometown of Walnut, two different places with Walnut involved in California. His Instagram is currently private, but he does have a Bruce Lee quote in his bio. Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own. So, seems to me, just looking at him and going off of that quote, like he's sort of like a philosophical guy, maybe. I mean, what's your reaction, Mariah?
That's definitely kind of my initial take on him too. I think it's so weird when people want to step into the like public light. They want to go on they want to go on reality television, but they have their socials private. I'm like, what are you hiding? Because we want to start digging up the dirt, like, or not even just digging dirt. I don't say that I do that, but I know you trolls out there do it and you live for it, which is fine because I love to hear about it. But I do love to investigate and kind of see what we're working with. You can tell a lot about a person by their social media. So I think he seems great. But again, he's not giving us anything to go by because he's keeping his Instagram private, which is just not the way to go if you want to win over America's hearts.
Yes, we'll have to see, get a real read for him once we meet him on the show. We have another Andrew S. He is 26 years old from Illinois. He is actually, this one's kind of interesting. He is cousins with former NFL player Clay Harbor, who appeared on Becca's season of The Bachelorette. From his Instagram, we can tell that he also plays football. Honestly, you guys, he looks like super fashionable. He enjoys traveling and is totally a mama's boy. I always think it's really interesting when relatives like join the franchise because obviously they know all the inside dirty details, what it was like
Mhm.
when, their relative went through it. So interesting to me. I don't know what to make of it. I just think it's interesting.
I do too. I don't know of any like relatives other than this, but we've seen like Matt joined into the franchise after Tyler Cameron. And I'm sure there's been other scenarios like that. You know somebody who went through the process and then you go through the process. So it is very interesting to see how that plays out. Clay, I think that he's had like relationships because of the franchise, but I don't think any of them have stuck. So to me, this kind of strikes me as Clay. This is my opinion of Clay. Was like, oh yeah, it was a great experience. I got all this clout. I got to meet these beautiful women and have free vacation. So that's kind of my initial assumption about this guy is maybe Clay was like, this is a great opportunity if you just want to have a good time.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think also his Instagram, he's so well traveled, he's so fashionable. I was like, how is this guy not like a male influencer already? So it's
Right.
going to be interesting. He's got a really sweet smile, not preemptively judging. He could be totally in it for all the right reasons. We're just going to have to wait and see. Next up, we have Austin. He's another one that we don't have a lot of info on, you guys. He is 25 years old from Mission Viejo, California. And a lot of fans wrote on his Facebook post that he looks like a mix between Pauly D and Evan Peters. And I just have to say, this one I totally see. The hair and then something about his face. I don't know. What do you think, Mariah?
I can't unsee it. I cannot unsee it. The hair is Pauly D, but like the dimples and the smile, the eyes, like everything about the face is screaming Evan Peters to me, who I actually have a huge crush on. So maybe he could be interesting. I don't know how I feel about him yet, but the whole like Evan Peters thing is working for me. And I cannot
I
unsee it
know.
now. So
Right? I mean, this one is like undeniable, so spot on. Pauly D and Evan Peters, to me, could not be more polar opposites. So it's a very
Right.
interesting combination here. Who knows if he'll have any similarities in real life to either of those guys, but he's another one that definitely has caught a lot of people's attention. Next up, we have Bao. He is 36 years old from Concord, New Hampshire. He's currently living in San Diego, though. So East Coast guy who relocated to the West Coast. His Instagram bio says he is interested in real estate and stocks. Those are like his professional interests. Steve thinks he is a real estate agent. And then his passion, his list of passions, which he also included in his Instagram bio, he is really, kind of setting the scene for us, which I appreciate. He has a passion for fitness, nutrition, boxing, basketball, and he also threw in animals just for good measure. So seems like a very well-rounded guy. He's got, the athletic interest, the business interest. He seems to be a sweetheart, throwing animals on at the end. He could be a really great option.
Okay, I'm already a big fan because I think he's really handsome and I am loving his interests so far. I'm looking out for my girl Katie, and I think this is definitely somebody that if she didn't get to know and sent home, I'm already gonna say it, I'd be upset with her because I could see her really liking him. So first initial reaction is definitely a good one.
Yeah, same. I think you're so right. He's so handsome. There's something about his bone structure, his hair. We are already
Yes.
big fans. Love it. I think he's the first one. I knew we would be very similar throughout this process. I think he's the first one I'm like really excited to meet so far.
Right.
Next up, we have Brandon. He is 26 years old, also from Illinois. He seems to be very into travel. His Instagram bio notes ties to Chicago, Tokyo, New York City. Steve put up on his Twitter, some of his travel pictures. He's got the floppy hair. I don't know. I'm getting like a very worldly vibe from this guy. What's your take?
Yeah, I do too. I kind of get like hipster vibes, which I can see working for Katie. I feel like Katie doesn't have just one singular type. So I feel like that's why I'm already happy with this selection because they all seem very different. No man that we've seen so far is like the one before. So I'm liking him so far. I see him as a good fit for her.
Totally. And that is such a good point. Katie definitely doesn't seem to have like super narrow type. She's very open. She loves to meet people, I feel like, and get people's like personalities, what they're into. She's not someone that's like, I like blonde hair, blue eye athlete. Give me
Right.
30 of those. So it's gonna be exciting. Next up, I think this might be one of the guys we have the least amount of info for. This is Brendan. He is 26. He is Canadian, and we think he is a part-time model. So great smile, good hair. That's all I got. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
Yeah. He is. He's a pretty man. Again, I mentioned earlier, everyone has like a describing word, and I feel like he's also pretty. And yes, I definitely see him being a part-time model. But I gotta speak from experience. I can't with male models. If you can, that's fine. I'm not hating on you, male models. You're beautiful. I love what you do. But like, I could not get serious with one. So I don't know, Katie. That's gonna have to be like something you really got to sit down with if he is a part-time model. Watch him be like a doctor or undercover agent or something like that. Something so far off from a model.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the mysterious ones. I don't know where we got part-time model from, all of the internet sleuths who have already been putting in the work. Obviously, we appreciate you and any information you're able to dig up. But like part-time from what? What else does he do? So
Right.
Lots of questions there. Very excited to get to know him better. Next, we have Christian. He is 26 as well, from Massachusetts. He's into real estate and life coaching. He is described as a professional optimist. I don't know how to put this delicately. Maybe it's like you and the male models. I don't know why. It's such a noble profession in theory, but there's something about the life coach thing that makes me nervous, and I don't know why.
I totally get that. I mean, he looks very handsome, but yeah, I mean, I'd have to hear. I'm gonna have to look him up. Maybe he has some like videos of positivity or kind of teasers into his life coaching career. And then maybe that will be our first like good impression of him. Right now, it's hard for me to get a good read on him.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it could be literally so noble. One of those people who is like helping people, really incredible. He's gonna have like me reaching for tissues night one with his story, and I'm gonna be super on board. But right now, for whatever reason, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, we have so many guys to get through. Next up, we have Cody. He is 27. He is from New Jersey. He is currently in San Diego, so another East Coast guy who has relocated. According to Reality Steve, he is a manager for Zip Pack, which are like those little plastic bags that you can store leftovers in. He looks kind of adorable. I think it's interesting that we like absolutely know what his job is, but I don't really know what that entails or what that means. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
get to know him better. He kind of strikes me as a sweetheart from this photo. What about you?
Yes, he definitely does not have a hint of bad boy in him, which could be a downfall for him because, as you know, and I'll let you all in on a secret, none of us women know why we're this way, but it's always the good, like clean cut guys that we're like, no, we're like, we don't know what's good for us. So he looks cute as can be, and we'll have to see. I hope that she gives him a chance, but like I said, I don't know what it is about our makeup, but if you're like the best possible guy, we are not going to go down that path. We never learn.
Yes, it's going to be, that's actually such a good point. Is Katie going to be one of those who likes the guy who plays a little hard to get? She's so wise, she's so mature, she's so ready for love. So I do have high hopes for her judgment, but you never know how someone's going to be once they actually step into, the lead role. Now I'm like going off on the tangent. She was so good at squashing girl drama. How is she going to handle guy drama? There's just so much to be excited about. Oh my goodness. Okay, next up we have Connor B. He is one of the ones, you guys, that you might be able to get a pretty good feel for before we start to see the season. He is 29 from Illinois. He's a musician. You can go and stalk his Spotify if you want to. You're going to want to search Connor Brennan. His bio there says, Nashville, I'm here to write songs and eat ice cream, and I'm all out of ice cream. So, funny, little quirky personality there. But the big question, and I hate to say it, but I am a skeptic. So he's a musician. Is he there for the right reasons, or is he there to make people aware of his music? Who knows? It's gonna be a tough one.
I feel like we've never had good luck with musicians coming onto the show, and that's why they created the Listen to Your Heart segment of the Bachelor franchise, okay? So people who really weren't interested in love, they were just interested in building their careers, which is totally fine. I support any career moves, but don't waste anybody's time in the process. I too am a skeptic, so I hate to come down hard on him right out the gate, but I wish I didn't know that he was here to write songs and eat ice cream. Like, I just think that is that was all a strategy. Like, I don't know. He's already off to a bad start with me.
I'm kind of with you. I have to say, I'm kind of with you. Obviously, he can win us over, but right now he's on my keeping a close watch list. Next up, another Connor C. He is 28 years old from Newport Beach, California, but he originally hails from Oklahoma, which, if you guys don't know, Mariah hails from Oklahoma as well. He attended Oklahoma State University. He once played minor league baseball. He is currently employed as an account manager. And apparently, he was once linked to a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader named Maggie Rouse. So, got a little more info on this guy. Mariah, I want your read.
I'm not sure because, again, this is going to be like the male model thing. I know this sounds really, really judgy. And to all you baseball players out there, please don't take offense to this. It's nothing personal. But in my experience, you baseball players are out here playing games. So I don't know how I feel about him. I'm, love that he's a fellow Okie. That's great. Now that I know that, and he's, only a couple of years older than me, I'm definitely going to be asking around about him so I can get the tea before the season starts. So my initial reaction, I don't know, because of the baseball thing. And I know that's awful, but it's how I feel.
I love it. I'm with you. We're going to have to see if you can dig up some exclusive scoop on him. In case you have any mutual friends, you'll have to keep us posted. Next up, okay, you know what? I spoke too soon. This is the guy we have the least amount of info on. Next up, we have David. He is 27. He lives in Nashville, and he was originally from New York. That's all I got. He's got a great smile. He looks super great, super personable from this photo, but we don't know too much about him right now.
I mean, yeah, all I can say is he's handsome. I'm gonna assume this could be a major like wrong guess here, but I feel like for the most part when people move to Nashville, it's to pursue a career in the music industry. So maybe we have another musician here and he's not putting that out there because he doesn't want us to judge him beforehand, which could be a good move. So all I can say about him is he's handsome.
He is. He's so handsome. And that's an interesting little tidbit, that Nashville thing you picked up on. We'll have to see if that ends up being true. That's a great point. Okay, next we have Dennis. He is a 26-year-old police officer from Chicago, and people on the Facebook page were absolutely losing it. I don't know if you guys can tell from this photo, but he has green eyes and obviously a great smile. So a lot of the ladies on the Facebook page were excited about him. What is your thoughts, Mariah?
Green is the second most rare eye color in the world. Just putting that out there. So already giving him kudos for that because I think that's a cool tidbit. He has a very sweet smile. Yeah, I mean, don't have a ton of information on him outside of his physical attributes, but his physical attributes are working for me. So I think Katie's going to like him too.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is 30, or wait, no, sorry, that's our next guy. He's 26. He's 26. Okay, so he's in the middle of the, age range. Some of these guys, I'm starting to be like, okay, you're cute, you're handsome. How mature are you going to be, right? Because Katie is, obviously uber mature, but he is a police officer. So he's probably, hopefully on the more mature end of the spectrum. I just hope they give her really good guys the way Tayshia got guys, that we were impressed for the most part with their maturity overall. So we'll see. Next up, speaking of maturity, this is our 35-year-old. We have Gabriel. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina. Although I don't necessarily know, this is just my gut, that he's going to be one of the most mature. He is not a stranger to reality TV. He did appear on the second season of Bravo's Make Me a Supermodel, you guys. It's total throwback. I don't know if anyone out there remembers. This is all per reality Steve, but his age is a good sign to me, right? But then it's sort of like he's still single and he was on a previous reality show, so maybe not the right reasons. I don't know. What are you thinking?
It's not only the fact that he's been on a reality show for me. It's also, and probably more so, the fact that the reality show was about him becoming a supermodel. That to me just screams, I'm not here for the right reasons. Nothing else in my life is bringing me to fame and clout. So how else can I find it? Again, that was probably a little harsh. So I'm sorry if anybody knows him. And he's a great guy. I'm sure he is. And maybe he'll prove me wrong. I hope that he does.
I hope so too. We have high hopes for everyone right now, right? We hope they're all amazing. Next up, we have Garrett. He is 29, also from California, and we don't have a lot of information about him, but this did make me laugh. On the Facebook page, a lot of fans were hoping he can redeem the name Garrett within the Bachelor franchise, because obviously Garrett, that we know, had a bit of a fall from grace amid his breakup with Becca. Someone wrote, Will Garrett be the Garrett that redeems the... I can't talk. Will Garrett be the Garrett that redeems the name Garrett? Tune in next season to find out. So anyways, that's just some of the takes on the Facebook page. Hopefully he looks super charming here, but you never know. Maybe Garrett's just one of those cursed names in the franchise.
I'm trying to go back into all the Garretts I've met. I think I've only met 2. Both of them never did anything to me, so I don't have any personal issues with them, but I know that the women in their lives, they did dirty. So I'm hoping that this Garrett is different. Yeah, scandalous. He is really handsome, though. I'll give him that. I think it looks like he has red hair. Am I wrong there? Do you see red?
A little bit, yeah.
So,
could go either way. Could be lighting, but I noticed that too.
I'm kind of a fan of redheads. I think that's interesting. So I don't know if that's a hot take, but I think he's handsome. That's all I can say. I hope he's a good Garrett.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Who knew? You guys, if you know any controversial Garretts, you got to let us know. Maybe it's just one of those names with a bad track record. Moving on, we do have Hunter. He is 34 years old. He is a divorced father of 2 from San Angelino, Texas. He is an interesting one because we have a lot of info on him, and there is a lot of content out there, ladies, if you want to stalk him. He considers himself to be a mental health warrior. He is a TikToker with more than 61,000 followers. His bio on TikTok reads, single dad with tats and jokes, use decorative towels to dry hands. So interesting, I don't know, hill to die on to put in your bio. I've never heard that stance before, but okay. He feels very passionate about hand towels. On his TikTok, there's sort of a whole hodgepodge. There's a lot of comedy. There's some social justice content. You know, obviously, he's a mental health warrior. Mental health is on his page. This one's interesting to me, right? Because he clearly is someone who's out there creating content, has a platform, has a large following number, which can kind of be a red flag in Bachelor land. But the content he's creating seems to really aim to do good in the world. So I don't know. He's an enigma to me. I'm very curious.
Yeah, he seems like he has a lot of depth, which I love that we already have this much information about him because it's fun to know a little bit about these people going into it. Uh, from what we know so far, he sounds like him and Katie would be a good match. The first impression we had of Katie was that she had a great sense of humor, so maybe that's where they hit it off initially. I bet his like what did they call it when they come out of the limo and they do something like crazy?
Just
I guess
limo
his greeting,
entrance, yeah.
whatever his entrance is going to be is probably going to be comical, so we can expect that. But yeah, he seems like he has a lot of depth to him. I think Katie is going to really appreciate him being transparent about mental health, social justice, and oh my gosh, he has more followers than any follower on any platform I have combined, so good for him.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing is, I think there can be like, oh, okay, they were married, they're divorced, like what happened there, you know, what's the deal? But also, I think that when you go through a divorce, chances are you really, really know what you want, right? So there is hopefully a good chance that this guy comes in, great sense of humor, you know, really aligned on subjects that are important to Katie, and he is not messing around, right? He's been through it before. He knows what he's looking for. So I have high hopes for him. I truly do.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have James. It looks like he's truly bi-coastal. He is from New York, but he spends a lot of time in San Diego. And that's all we were sort of able to dig up about him for now. He definitely kind of strikes me as a California boy in that photo, even though he's from New York. So he's another one that we're going to have to wait for more details on, but he's handsome.
Oh yeah, he's handsome. He definitely looks like he's very into fitness. You know, that's great. Again, it's hard to give much of an impression of him aside from his physical attributes, but I'm liking the physical attributes. I have a feeling Katie is going to like them as well.
Totally. I am with you. Let's see. Next up, we have Jeff. He is 31. He is from New Jersey. He works as a sales rep. And according to his LinkedIn profile, these are a lot of these extra tidbits, by the way. I just want to make sure I'm continuing to give credit. These are reality Steve doing the hard work, getting the info for us. According to his LinkedIn profile, he was a pole vaulter during his years at Wagner College. So a pole vaulter. I don't know within all the athletes we see come across these shows that we've had a pole vaulter yet. Very interesting.
That is interesting. It's an interesting sport. I don't know anybody who has done that in the past, so he's definitely a first. He seems like a cutie, and that's really all I can say about him. Again, I just hate, I wish we could get like all the information about them, like from the time
Right
they
now.
were born to like when they graduated high school. I would just love to know all that information because I'm weird like that. But Jeff, he seems all right.
Seems all right. I'm with you. We'll have to wait and see more. Next up, we have John, 27, from Santa Cruz, California. John, we don't know too much about, but what we do know, I think, is amazing. He is reportedly training to be a pilot, according to Mr. Reality Steve. And all I have to say is what everyone in the Facebook group was commenting. Move over, Peter. We've potentially got a new pilot in, Bachelor Nation. We know so many people were so in love with Peter because he's a pilot. It's such a cool job. And our new guy, John, might be able to fill that role moving forward. So just one to watch.
I'm not trying to put down Peter. I know that you're not a fan. You know I'm not a fan. So I'm hoping that this guy can come in and kind of, I don't know. I know everyone loved Peter, but I'm hoping that he redeems the pilots of America for me, because Peter is just not my favorite, but John looks very handsome. And yeah, there's just something about a man in uniform.
Yeah, right? I mean, he looks so sweet. He got big smile. I don't know. I have very high hopes for him. Hopefully, like you said, he can restore the good name of pilots everywhere. If you're a Peter fan,
Yes.
don't come for us. We're tired. We're a
Yeah,
little salty at this
please.
point. All right, next up we have Joshua. He is 25 years old. He is from Florida. He is a University of Florida alumni, and he is a huge fan of donuts. So it'll be funny to see if, like you said, comedy, donuts, some of these hobbies sort of pop up in their limo entrances. He has an amazing smile. I feel like he is super handsome. First guy in the group from Florida, so definitely one to look out for.
Yeah, he is super handsome. Huge fan of donuts as well. So we already have that in common. Excited to see him moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. I am with you. Next, we have Justin. He is 26 from Maryland. He is a sales consultant, but he is also a painter. And if you check out his social media, Reality Steve linked to it, you can actually see a ton of his artwork. He does portraits, he does news, he does landscapes. I mean, he is super, super artistic. So he's one that I find to be kind of interesting because what is it? A sales consultant. Yeah, that's sort of like, an office job, can be very corporate, very suit and tie. But then a painter, someone who's very
Yeah.
artistic, indulging both sides. I think he could be very well rounded. I'm very hopeful.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, I can't think of a time where there's been an artist on the show, like a painter. I can already see it now, like they're on a one-on-one date and he like wants to paint her or something. What, or I don't know, he does nude portraits, so who knows? It could get really risky this season of The Bachelorette. But I like Justin so far. I think the artist aspect is really working for him.
Yeah, I am totally with you. He's going to be one to watch for sure. Next up, we have Carl. He is 33. He is from Miami, so another guy from Florida. He is another, you guys, two motivational speakers in this bunch. He is full-time, though, motivational speaker, it looks like, because he's the founder of his own professional growth firm, Next Level Success. So you already know my thoughts. I hope he is amazing, everything we could want and more. But until I get that read on his personality, I don't know. I'm just curious. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think it's cool that he's the founder of his own firm. Like, that's cool to me. That shows like a really hard work ethic. It's not easy starting your own business, but I'm kind of with you. I think I really need to just put a personality to the face and to the occupation before I can really judge too harshly.
Absolutely. I'm there 100%. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. You got to let us know because it's just those weird, funny little things that stick with you with some people. All right, next up, we have Kyle, our third guy from Florida. He is 26 years old. He looks to be very well traveled. According to his Instagram bio, he would describe himself as the original golden retriever, which at first struck me as odd, but then it occurred to me that I actually refer to my boyfriend's stepdad as a golden retriever because there's just something so warm and loving and personable. So I don't know. If you are calling yourself a golden retriever, you better be the nicest person alive.
Oh, yeah. Like, we're already expecting the most and the best behavior from him. So he really has set our expectations for him really high. And I hope that he can meet them.
I hope so too, because I mean, he's very handsome. He's got a great
Yeah.
smile. If he can if he can own that label, then he might be, a really, really great one. I hope he's like a peacekeeper within the house. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too much of a dog person, but if you're going to give yourself that title, you better be wonderful. Okay, next up we have Landon. He is 25. We do not know where he is from. He is a former collegiate basketball player, and he uses his skills to motivate a new generation of athletes as a high school basketball coach in Texas. Okay, so I guess he must just be from Texas. That's what we're assuming. I love that. I love someone who, kind of continued their journey with sports if they weren't going to go pro after the college days. I think that shows a lot of dedication, a lot of passion. Love that he's trying to inspire a new generation of athletes. I hope he's a great guy.
Yeah, I think anybody who works with kids is going to be great. I mean, you have to be. It takes a certain type of person to work with kids of whatever age. I'm assuming they're does it mention? I'm assuming they're older, they're playing sports, so you have to be at least
High
old
school.
enough to comprehend. Okay, it says high
High
school.
school, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's an endearing quality. So I'm already liking him just from that. He seems like he's a really nice guy. He's obviously handsome, so I'm excited to see Landon moving forward. I think we're going to see him at least past the first episode.
All right. I love a good prediction. I do. All right. Sorry, I lost my place here. Okay. Next up, we have Marcus. He is, I feel like I'm like the host of some sort of game show right now. He is 30. He is from Vancouver, Washington, but he currently works in Oregon as a real estate broker. That is all we know about him. There is something so charming about his smile, though. I am really excited to meet him for some reason. I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling.
No, it's the smile for me too. I think a smile says so much about someone. Like it's the first impression for me. It's like it's very warm and inviting and he seems really sweet. He's somebody like if I were Katie and he was in this group of men, I'd be like, I feel like we're going to have a good conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it really can just be a look. So we have Marcus. We can't wait to meet him. Next, we have Marty. So Marcus and Marty. Marty is 25 years old from Nevada, and there are very few details on him, but he does appear to be a model. Reality Steve tweeted out like his official modeling profile from something. So yeah, we have another model in the mix. I feel like it's becoming more common, like as we started to see, I feel like more and more pageant girls within the Bachelor seasons, we're starting to see more and more male models within the Bachelorette seasons. They're really casting, very handsome and very beautiful people to be a part of the show, which I don't have a problem with. But we don't know too much about him. So his personality right now is kind of a mystery. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, again, not a lot to say because there's no information here, but he's handsome. I mean, that's true. Pageant girls were hitting up the Bachelor franchise and now models. Maybe it's just for the exposure. I hope not. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. Okay, next we have Michael A. We do have quite a bit of information about him. He is 36. He is a single father and widower who lost his wife in 2019. So very, very sad. According to his Instagram bio, he is an entrepreneur and he founded the L4 Project. So Live Life Like Laura, L4. And Laura is his wife who passed. She passed away at 33 due to breast cancer. The organization's website says L4 sells cause-inspired merch collections, and 100% of the proceeds goes directly to our partner charities in perpetuity. So, oh my goodness, so many thoughts about this guy. I mean, to be a grieving widower, that to me in and of itself is just so heartbreaking. Then you add the fact that he's a father on top of it, the fact that he is obviously really passionate about charity. He's going to be an interesting one because, and again, not to question his journey in any way, shape, or form, but his wife did pass away in 2019, if our notes are correct. So it'll be really interesting, I think, to see how ready he is, right? As with any widow, or to move on, to find love again.
Yeah, it does seem pretty soon. Again, I feel bad giving anybody a timeline on how long they should wait before
Right.
they put themselves back out there. So if he feels comfortable, like it's time and this is something his wife would have wanted for him to experience, and by all means, I also think, we've mentioned, of course, I'm not saying this is the reason he's going on the show, but we've mentioned people who have ulterior motives who go on the show. But honestly, in his case, if he went on the show and his, for what was it, L4 project, if that was just elevated because of the exposure, then that's great, like again, I'm not saying that's why he would be going on the show, but if you were to go on something to elevate your foundation, like by all means, I support it. Already, I really love him just because he's got a very sweet story. It's really inspiring. He's obviously seen some really hard stuff very recently, and he's putting himself out there to find love again. And this, by all means, is not a process for those who are insecure or without confidence. I mean, it takes a lot of courage. So I'm already really loving him. I think it's really courageous of him to go through this process.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally with you. I hope, I mean, you're so right. If things are going to get elevated from the show, it should be something that's going to a good cause. So I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to meeting him. I totally could see for some reason him and Katie hitting it off just because he seems to be very emotionally, in tune, and Katie is so emotionally mature. So definitely one to watch there. Next up, we have Mike P. Finally, you guys, I feel like there are always personal trainers on every season, and Mike P is our personal trainer this time around. He is 31. He is another former baseball player. He made it all the way to the minor leagues, and he is a well-rounded athlete. He also played basketball in college. So listen, some personal trainers come on, and I think they get a lot of, I don't know why. It's totally like a very real profession, right? They probably work super, super hard, but for some reason, it's one of those classic Bachelor professions that always gets called out. But it could be interesting. He might be one of those really hardworking, super smart, well-rounded guys. So I don't know too much yet. I'm excited to know more.
Yeah, I feel like I've been so judgy towards athletes, and I'm sorry if you're an athlete. Maybe I've just been too hurt in the past by athletes. I don't know what it is, but I easily get sketched out if you've been a baseball player or a basketball player or honestly any sport. But yeah, personal trainers, they do get a lot of heat for some reason. And I, for one, any personal trainer that like wants to work with me, I'm like, thank you, teach me all the things. So I'm excited to see him. I'm not going to hate on him for being a personal trainer. I know I've probably already hated on him for being a past athlete, but here we are. I
No,
said
I'm
it.
with you. He does look like a sweetheart. Looks almost like he's got, it's hard to tell, but really blue eyes. So we're gonna be, learning more about him hopefully in the near future. Next, we have Courtney, 26 years old, medical sales rep with a degree in biology and a fondness for fitness. He seems like he is really smart, really athletic. So another one that's striking me as pretty well rounded. Very, very sad news to report here. His mother did pass away. I don't know how, but we do know that he lost his mom. Obviously, that is so sad. It could have been when he was a child. I truly don't have like a full picture on the scope of it, but he's someone to me who seems like he's obviously had to deal with grief. He's obviously, he's a degree in biology. He's obviously well educated. So I don't know. I have a good feeling about him. He strikes me as someone who could be really genuine, really well-rounded, like I said. So I have high hopes.
I do too. I mean, yeah, he's experienced some really hard stuff. He's clearly very smart. He's clearly very attractive. So he's already like a front runner for me.
Totally. I'm with you for sure. Next up, we have Tanner, 28, living in San Diego. He is the founder and CEO of Die Is Life. You can check them out at dieislife.com. That is die like beer die, like frat boys, like college games. If you went somewhere where there were fraternities or honestly any guys, they love the beer die. The website, it's like merch, right? There's like t-shirts, long sleeves, accessories, all that good stuff. I asked my boyfriend and he had actually heard of it. So, and he's not a huge die enthusiast, but he had already, heard of them, was familiar. So seems pretty legit, even if it is a little fratty. He is a CU Boulder alum. So I don't know. His business is something that kind of screams frat guy, yet he's the CEO and founder of his own business. So gonna be interesting to meet this one.
I love a business owner. I think that's cool to have something of your own that you've worked really hard for. But yeah, I agree. Very fratty vibes. It'll be interesting to see. Now, I think frat boys, yeah, they're looked down upon when they're still in the prime of college. But afterwards, I think they, for the most part, turn out to be well-rounded individuals. At least I hope so. So I have high hopes for Tanner.
Yeah, I do too. I think there's nothing wrong with taking something that you love, something that you have fun doing and passionate about. If you can channel that into a business, more power to you. So I'm with you. I kind of feel like he could be the douche of the season, right? He could be an instant villain, but I hope not. I think he's going to be really great. Next up, we have Thomas, also from San Diego. So to San Diego, back to back. He is 28. His Instagram bio reads, smarter than the average bear. He is a real estate agent, played basketball at the University of San Diego, according to Reality Steve. This is kind of like that golden retriever claim. If you are smarter than the average bear, then you better not be involved in any petty drama, is all I have to say.
Right? So, yeah, we already have high expectations of him. So, Thomas, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good move to like already set the bar so high, but I hope that you can maintain that.
I hope so too. Next up, we have Trey. He is 26. He is from Georgia. He has a great smile. He has no Instagram bio and no information out there. So, Trey, I look forward to hearing more about you. That's all I got. Very handsome,
Exactly.
but that's all we can go off of.
He's got a nice smile. He is very handsome, and that's pretty much all I can say. I can't wait to get to know him a little bit more.
Same, absolutely. Okay, oh my gosh, we've done it. Last but not least, 34 out of 34. We have Victor. He is actually quite possibly the one with the most info out there on him right now, you guys. He is 32. He is from Texas. He went to UCLA. He's from Texas, but it appears like he spent a good amount of time in Venice Beach. Hard to say, where he is right now in the world, but definitely spent a lot of time in California. He works in real estate. He is a veteran housing advocate, disaster relief volunteer. Veterans are very near and dear to his heart. His father, who actually did pass away, was a veteran. Faith also seems to be very important to him. He has a quote in his bio that reads, "My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." This is where it gets interesting. He has 11,000 followers on Instagram right now. So he is sort of doing the pseudo influencer vibe already. It really does seem to be, I only did a quick scroll, but like sort of in a way to raise awareness about the work that he is doing. So not your typical, like, he's not a model, right? That's not where he's getting his followers from. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I felt the need to include this, but it made my heart sad, so I wrote it down. He recently lost his dog, and he shared a very emotional post about it on his page. Just maybe his fellow dog person, that one hit me. And he's very close to his brother. He mentions his brother. I looked through 10 posts, you guys. Didn't do the full deep dive, didn't have enough time, but he's mentioned his brother a lot on his page in what I looked at. So family seems important. Faith seems important. He seems to have dedicated his life to something important. I don't know. He's interesting. There's a lot of info out there. We're going to have to keep learning.
He's got a lot of depth. I love that. I love that we're already getting to know so much about him. And you know what? I'm sure all of these men have a lot of depth to them. I really, really resonate with a lot of the stuff that he is into. I think it's really endearing. So I really, really love Victor. And I'm going to say this could be a hot take. When I first saw this photo, like at first glance, I was like, is that, what's his name? Daniel Radcliffe? He's Harry Potter, right?
Yes!
I literally saw Daniel Radcliffe without the glasses.
Whoa.
And maybe it's like the shadowing in the distance, but that's the very first thing I saw. I'm actually a huge, huge HP fan. So Victor might be my favorite as of right now.
That is so funny. I feel like if I do like a quick look, I could see it. I think like the hair is definitely right there. But yeah, he's an interesting one. We're going to have to get to know him better. But that's it, Mariah. All 34. It seems like she's got a very solid group of guys, a lot of different professions. We don't know too much about everyone, but from what we do know, it seems like there's a lot of promising guys in this group. I feel like it's only fair since we were, taking on the roles of Katie's, what's the word I'm looking for? We're standing in for Katie right now as we do our first impressions. I think we should give out a first impression rose. So I want to know, obviously no right or wrong answer, who is getting that rose from you?
See, I really liked Courtney. That was his name, right? We both liked Courtney.
Yes.
But then I forget his name. He was more towards the beginning. We both really loved him too. What was his name?
Right. I'm scrolling back.
Scrolling because I want to find him.
Let's see. Towards the beginning, who we love.
Oh, is it? I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly. Starts with B.
Bao. I think that's how you say it. Again,
Bao.
if we pronounce anyone's name wrong, apologies. We will get to
Please,
know them more as everyone does. He was incredible too. You are so right.
And I honestly, like, yes, he's got a great like bio from the very small bit we have, but I think he's just so handsome. That might just be it for me. Like, I might like, be a little shallow in my first impression rose.
I love it. Well, okay, you have Bao. I'm gonna go with. Oh, this is tough. I don't know how they do it. I guess they get to like actually
Right?
meet the people, so maybe that makes it easier. I think I'm gonna stick with our guy Courtney. I don't know, kind of same thing. There's just something about him that struck me. He seemed great. Watch us like both be
Yeah.
so off, so wrong, but he seemed great.
Gosh, I hope
You
not.
guys, we want to know who gets your first impression rose from this bunch, and also honestly, if you guys have been doing any deep dive or any stalking of your own, if you have any more tea, please let us know, whether it be in the chat or the comments. And if you have any questions or comments that you haven't sent, send them our way, because we're going to get to as many as we can right now. We just want to know what you guys are thinking, right? As we embark on this next phase of the Bachelor journey. So let's see. Hopefully we've got some locked and loaded, ready to go. Carrie put in the chat that she loves our honesty and bluntness. Well, I am glad, Carrie, because we do our best. What can I say?
It's because I hated on all the athletes. That's why she likes it.
She does. We got to keep it real. Got to keep it real here.
This Twitter user says, both of you ladies look beautiful. Thank you so much. From your picture, you are beautiful as well, girl. So thank you.
Oh, love that. That is so sweet, Gigi. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Oliver says, Kylie, I think you probably meant Kyle, almost looks like Ben Higgins. Interesting. Okay, now that we see that picture there, I could see that. I could. I think
I see
Ben is a little like broader, maybe a little beefier, but like I see it. I see it in the face. That could work. All right, let's see. Okay, here's another one for you, Mariah.
Gabriella thinks Brandon looks like maybe potential first impression rose. We'll see. Brendan. I can't remember Brendan.
Sure. Brendan, he was our model.
Now I remember Brendan. Yeah, well, I can see that because he's so handsome. He's obviously very attractive. Hopefully, like if he comes in with stimulating conversation and he's fun and outgoing, then yes, hands down, because he's gorgeous.
Absolutely. Let's see. Our producer's asking if the photo is photoshopped or face-tuned. I don't know. It looks like it's heavily edited. Looks like
It looks a little edited to me. Yeah. But if he's a model, part-time model, then maybe somebody filtered it for him. Who knows?
Who knows? It would be interesting to see if he just doesn't look like that at all once we meet him. He's So who do we think picks these photos? You know, I have to say, I think that the producers probably ask, right? I mean, Mariah, I feel like I would, if I was a producer, if I was in touch with these guys, I would say, send me the photo that you think, you know, represents yourself best. And then if they don't get anything, then it's deep dive of the social media time. I mean, what do you think?
I feel like, because there's a huge application process for this, I feel like you would probably submit some of your favorite photos that give the best, like, I don't know, give people an idea of who you are, what you represent, and maybe they choose from there, like, what picture seems the most marketable, and they try and sell you on, like, what you have around you. If you're outdoors, maybe you give a very outdoorsy vibe. This does kind of give a male model vibe. Maybe that's what they're going for.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's interesting for sure. And I think a picture can be worth 1,000 words. So you gotta represent yourself well there. All right. E. Hardy said, unrelated, but have y'all seen Matt James deleted all of his Instagram posts and his story posted the date 3/21/21? I have not seen this. So you are breaking news here as we're live. We're going to have to
Yeah.
investigate this for sure.
We need full coverage immediately.
For sure. Oh no, I hope there's not anything dramatic going on. Matt has just been through so much already. He needs a break.
Well, he mentioned therapy on that tweet, so maybe that was like more serious than it was comical. Maybe he's taking a major social media break, which now is the time to do it, honestly. I've heard, I've never done it because I don't know if I could, but I've heard it's very freeing. Maybe I'll look into it.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he's just doing like a wipe and a reset. He's, looking to start fresh, to start things new. We will have to keep our eyes out on that one for you. If we can find out any more details, we are trying to keep you guys updated on all things Bachelor Nation. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, and we will follow up. On that note, you guys, those are all of the questions and comments we have time for right now. If we didn't get to yours, please go ahead and leave us just a general comment on the video so we can see all of your thoughts, because Katie's season of The Bachelorette is so exciting. It is right around the corner, and we want to know, honestly, just what everyone's predicting heading into it. So let us know for sure. On that note, if you have not already, please subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future lives and any future videos. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring. I was joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. If you want to come say hi, my socials are at Fiona Zaring. Mariah, where can they find you?
Find me at Mariah Davis.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.